Wow. Wow, wow. We're actually on the last chapter. This is crazy. It's pretty cool. I just did chapter 10 recording, shut it down, whatever, and then opened it back up and was like, let's do the next chapter. And I scrolled and I went, oh, this is the last chapter, which I'm kind of excited because we get to go into Jared Tendler's book next. And I don't even know, man. 30 videos, 40, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. All I know is there's just so much in there. It's a whole system of how to handle psychology in the mental game of trading. So let's talk about chapter 11. All right. Here, trading identity. How do you identify yourself as a trader? This is going to be huge. In the final chapter, Hougaard introduces the concept of trading identity, the sum of beliefs, habits, and emotional patterns that shape a trader's behavior. He urges he urges that to change your trading results, you must change your identity. Okay? When I first started, I was a very emotional trader. Okay? I literally like turned $400 into $6,500, turned $6,500 into $200, turned $200 into $800, turned $800 into $50. Like it was just crazy because my beliefs in what trading could be were just out of control. It really was. And my habits were just terrible, right? And my emotional patterns, it was like a trip to Six Flags every day. Every time I stepped in front of the screen, it was like the Hulk roller coaster of emotions. It was crazy. All right. And he explains that most traders operate within a loser's identity. Okay. Been there. All right. I went through a time where it was just like, I accept that I just was terrible garbage trader. And let me tell you, like I wore that identity for a while. It was like I expected trades to lose because I was getting in them. It was like, I know I'm going to go long, so you guys should go short. You ever heard people say that? Okay, I used to say that. All right, without realizing it. Okay, and here's the thing: back then, at the time, I didn't even know. It's just like I was saying things like that, like, "Hey guys, I'm going short, so you should probably go long." Well, what is that revealing about my heart, right, and my identity? So he explains that traders can operate with the loser's identity without even realizing it, marked by fear, inconsistency, and lack of discipline. Right? The only thing I was disciplined at this time was hunting the golden strategy. I hunted that sucker like you wouldn't believe. Back tested like a maniac, searched YouTube because, of course, I was going to find the golden strategy on YouTube, which, hey, you know what? I did. But true transformation comes when traders stop trying to trade like winners and become someone who believes like a consistently profitable trader. Okay? So, true transformation comes when traders stop trying to trade like winners and become someone who behaves like a consistently profitable trader. All right? That's why some mentorships are worth their weight in gold. Okay? Casper SMC, worth his weight in gold. Jason Casper, okay, one of the best Bitcoin traders I've ever seen, worth his weight in gold. Okay? Because if you get an opportunity to see into their trading, and that's what you want to behave like because they are consistently profitable traders. Okay, I'm I'm working on this part. Okay, I'm a profitable trader and I do pretty good, right? But I would really like for this to be just consistent. Now I have to be careful with that too, right? Because you can't make money every day, every week, maybe even every month. You can't just make money consistently. But I can be consistent, and then that leads me into greater profitability. This means adopting the habits and routines and thinking patterns of a professional. I have worked with some professional traders, like floor stock exchange traders, one of them with 40 years. Okay. I started to adopt the habits. I told a story in one of the videos. I was so proud of a trade and I showed it to him and he was like, he knew I was proud of it. And by the look on his face, I knew what was coming, right? He was like, man, garbage trade. All right. And of course he was professional and polite and encouraging. And he didn't say it was a garbage trade, but it was a garbage trade. And he taught me why. All right. So we need to start adopting the proper habits, routines, and thinking patterns of professionals, not of glamour YouTubers. Okay. And I'm trying not to pick on people because here I am on YouTube, right? But I'm not flashing Rolexes and Lambos and $50,000 trade setups and this kind of stuff. One, because I haven't got any of that, and two, because I feel like even if I did, it's gonna set the wrong. It's gonna give people the wrong thinking patterns, right? It really is, and it's gonna have people build habits and routines that are unhealthy, right? I want to teach you guys what I've learned from other people that truly have helped me become more of a professional. I don't want to be a gambler. I want to be a professional gambler, right? I want to be a shark. Hougaard provides a practical trading strategies to begin this transformation. Visualize yourself as a high level performer, okay? Adopt the language of discipline. There's some other books I'm going to be going through that don't have anything to do with trading, like Atomic Habits, okay, that we, as in my opinion, professional traders need to adopt, okay? And remove the identity of a struggling trader, all right? Slamming keyboards and FOMO in and like YOLO. Like, dude, I was a good YOLO trader. I mean, I almost should have made my YouTube handle the Revenge Trader, right? I should have been the Revenger Trader, like for real, because I had a skill, right, at revenge trading, and I was good at it. But you know what? It wasn't allowing me to build the proper mindsets, habits, routines, and patterns to be a professional. Okay. Just because I'm good at something doesn't mean I should do it. Right. And some people might look at that and like disagree. But I'm telling you, like it I blew accounts quite often, even though I was making money. Now that I'm not doing that like I was, I'm definitely making more. Okay. So what do you want to be? A professional like YOLO gambler, or do you want to be a professional poker shark who knows when to fold, when to hold, right? All right. Visualize yourself as a high level performer. Adopt the language of discipline and remove the identity of a struggling trader. Okay. Start getting rid of this. Start thinking at the end of the day, did I act like a professional trader today? Yes, I did. What was my P&L? Who cares? I acted like a professional trader. Gold star for me, baby. Let's go. Right? I don't care about my P&L on a day like that. Okay. The other day, like the other week, I went on tilt and I shook myself out of tilt, which is pretty unusual for me, to be honest with you. Usually, once I tilt, I'm gone, right? Because I have that, I have a lot of past behavior where I've been super rewarded for YOLO trading. And I stopped it. And I didn't lose the account. And I'm still making profits in that account now. That was a golden day for me. And that is a W day that I am proud of because I said, no more. Am I being who I want to be? No. So stop. That was very hard, but that was a big W. Anyway, so yeah, I still struggle with stuff. Don't get it twisted. Start getting rid of this. Talk to yourself about who you've been this past day and week. And if you've been a struggling trader, change it, right? If you're not being who you want to be, change it. But if you are being who you want to be, I don't care about your P&L. If you're doing the right routines, habits, and thinking patterns, then I don't care about your P&L. You are on your way to profitability, okay? He emphasizes that identity drives behavior, okay? This is so real, all right? Identity drives behavior. So who you're going to identify yourself and call yourself is how you're going to be driven, okay? When you change how you see yourself, actions begin to align with your new identity, and so do your results. Okay? Start telling yourself, if you're not who you want to be, tell yourself who you need to become. And then start practicing those things to get you there. Just one little tiny thing at a time. Guys, I'm celebrating a gold star W for stopping tilt. I've never stopped tilt. I've always gone all the way through and YOLO'd, And probably 70% of the time, I YOLO my way out of it. That's crazy. But I said, that's not who I want to be. And that is endangering my mental game of trading, right? It is endangering my habits and thinking patterns. And so I'm squashing it. And I'm sure I'll struggle here and there with it. But you know what? I'm hoping to give myself more gold stars on those days. I lost a lot of money that day, and that's okay. It's still a W, man. Still, let's go. All right. So let's talk about application. How do you apply this? So some self-reflection prompts. Who am I when I sit down to trade? Ask yourself this. I literally, in the midst of like tilting and not even FOMOing, YOLOing. Okay, I need to make a new category called YOLOing, and I'm King YOLOer. I'm telling you, I'm like a YOLOer for real. Um, I asked myself, am I being who I want to be? And I said no. And then I was able to tell myself to stop, and I did. Mid emotion, mid everything. Like I tilted, and then I tilted myself back, and I was able to regain control. Okay, you can do this. All right, do my actions reflect a professional or an amateur identity? Which one? That one day, amateur. The rest of the 2 weeks, I would say classify as professional. Some struggles, but nothing huge. Nothing huge. That was the only huge thing I've had in, 2-3 weeks, right? Do my actions reflect a professional or an amateur identity? This is where it's okay to be. If you're here and you're like the crappiest trader in the world, if you can admit that to yourself, you're immediately going to jump into a whole nother category, right? Because you're going to be able to see it now and start bringing correction to it. Start empowering yourself to become who you want to become, a professional. So seriously, if this is you, I have to admit this sometimes. I acted very immature that day. But the fact that I was able to tell myself, you're not being who you need to be, so stop. Okay? All right. What identity am I reinforcing with my current habits? That's exactly what I was talking about. I don't care if I'm the best YOLOer in the world. I no, it does not align with the identity I'm building as a trader, and I want it gone. Okay? I don't want it. I don't want to win a trade, which this is crazy. I don't want to win a trade like that. I'm kind of glad I didn't win it because in the past, I'm telling you, if I actually had all of my records of the YOLOing I've done, it's crazy. Build a trader identity. Okay? Build it. Write a trader creed that defines who you want to be at the screen. Okay? When you sit in front of your screen to trade, you need to be following a creed or, just an agreement you've made with yourself, right? You've hired yourself as an employee and you're telling your boss is writing out your job, description, and you're writing out a creed that you're going to follow. You're going to agree to follow. I think that this is important, right? I have to find mine. It was written a long time ago. I might just rewrite it because I think, I've matured in a lot of other areas. So I'm going to probably write something out. Maybe I'll share it out. Could be fun, right? But take this part very seriously. Okay, so model professional habits. You need to be learning from not YOLO YouTubers, okay? I know there's a lot of fun videos out there of people turning like $200 into like 50K. You don't do that without having habits you shouldn't be doing, okay? I know a lot of people are like, that's what I want to do. I want to make big money quick. Man, and in my opinion, when you read market wizards, you see those stories, right? Make 50 million, lose 50 million. What? That's just crazy. That's not who I want to be. I would rather make 10 million and never lose it, right? All right. So study the behavior of the top traders and replicate their routines, okay? So learn from people like Tom Hougaard, learn from people like Jared Tendler, learn from, Casper SMC and then Jason Casper. These are guys that, you can replicate their routines and their habits and learn from them. Okay. And there's other many, many, many great traders. I don't know them all by name. Okay. But whoever you're following, watch them very, very, very closely and be like, is that somebody I want to mimic? Okay. Speak like a pro. Replace victim language. I hope this works. With ownership, I execute my edge. I executed my edge. I think that's what I was trying to say. Okay. Think about that. I hope this works. This is me. I'm a hopeful dude. Like I'm a wishful guy. Okay. Going through Jared Tendler's book, I definitely have to spend a little extra time on the wishfulness. Okay. Because I just wish the market would do this, or I just wish this would happen. Right. And I start dreaming about what's going to happen the day that my wishes come true. Right. No, don't do that. Okay. It's okay to have like hope, but I would say on an extremely long term kind of mind frame, like in 2, 3 years, I hope I'm going to be a professional trader with good, healthy trading habits. Okay. But your other language needs to be so today, how do I execute my edge like a professional trader? Okay. So get rid of any kind of victim language you have. You are not a victim. Okay. And take ownership. The book Extreme Ownership by Jocko. Read it. It's another book I'm going to be doing. It has nothing to do with trading, but it's all about extreme ownership. Every decision you own it. Okay. Create environment for success. Surround yourself with reminders of your ideal trading identity. Build this trading identity of who you want to become and surround yourself with it. Immerse yourself in it. Right? If you want to be one who like wakes up, like slithers over to your desk, like rub the sleep out of your eyes, look at your chart, enter a trade. I don't know, man. If that's who you want to be. But if you'd rather be the guy who gets up, maybe does some jumping jacks, goes have a healthy, protein shake with coffee or whatever, right? Like, do a little bit of exercise, cold plunge if you're insane, those kinds of things. And then, you sit down, you do proper TA, you're patient, you wait, all that good stuff, right? Surround yourself with the reminders of your ideal trading identity. Start building what kind of trader you want to be. Commit to daily identity practice. Ask, what would a pro do here before each trade? What would a pro do? Well, a pro would accept his loss that he's okay. A lot of people like put a stop loss and they have high hopes for the trade because there's lots of confirmation. So they go in YOLOing like crazy. They're risking way too much money. And they're okay with that because they're so hopeful this trade's going to work out that they're only focusing on the top P&L, right? They're only looking at that take profit. Like, dude, if I can get that, that'll be amazing. It's like, well, in all reality, half the time you're gonna hit your stop loss. Are you okay with that? Right? So what would a pro do? A pro would put enough on the trade to make enough money that they're satisfied with it, but also whatever they put on to lose, they're okay with that. And they know that 10 losses isn't going to smoke their account. Okay? So, what would a pro do here? Ask yourself that. Right when you get to your charts, what would a pro do? Wipe the sleep out of his eyes and enter a trade? Or a full top down analysis, right? I see my confirmations. What would a pro do? Would a pro hesitate? Would a pro start going to look for confirmations on indicators they don't use? Or flipping to all kinds of time frames to make sure that this is the right one? Is that what a pro would do? Would they hesitate? No. Would they FOMO without confirmations? I hit my level. I'm at my level. I hit my level. FOMO, go, 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 go. Where's your confirmations? None. Would a pro do that? Right? Start asking yourself these kind of questions. Okay. Let's get into some action steps. Write your trader identity statement and read it daily. Okay. So your creed, your statement of who you want to be, right? Who do you want to be as a trader? And go over it, right? Make it your background or something. That's kind of cool. That's a good idea. I might do that. Yeah. See, that's why I make these videos. I get ideas too, or maybe you like actually copy and paste your creed into TradingView and you keep it on your chart, right? You just put it over on the little chart and you have it there each day. Catch and reframe image, immature thoughts or language. Okay. So when you start, see, Jared Tendler's book does an amazing job of this, helping you understand the things you tell yourself all the time and kind of what that could mean as far as your mindset and how to change it. All right. If I'm constantly, seriously sitting in a Discord going, guys, I shorted, you should go long, because that's just what happens. Like I go in the market and it immediately comes after me. That's not good. That's not good thinking. Okay. That is going to reinforce you into thinking that you're a loser trader. And if that's what you're going to tell yourself and the language you're going to use, unfortunately, that's probably who you're going to become. Okay. But if you tell yourself the opposite, like, I'm okay losing because in the long run with my edge, I'm going to be a winning trader, that's different. Okay. So pay attention to those things you tell yourself all the time. And if they're destructive, get rid of them, replace them. That's what the reframe is. You replace it. Okay. Please understand that. All right. For real. Track one habit at a time that reinforces your new identity. You can't just write your creed and go, I am going to change these 15 things about my trading. Ready, go. Okay. My goodness. I mean, if you can do that, then yeah, please DM me and let me know how. But just take one or two things at a time, usually the biggest ones, right? Like if you're crazy FOMOer, work on the FOMO. Okay. Eventually you're going to get the FOMO under control. And then maybe you realize, that you revenge trade. It wasn't as bad as your FOMO, but you do revenge trade, right? So now you can work on that, right? And then then you start noticing after you fix that sometimes you hesitate when you shouldn't. It wasn't as bad as a revenge trading or the FOMO, but it's something you can work on now, right? You can work on a little bit at a time. And I'm telling you, by knocking out the 2, 3, 4, 5 big ones, when you start getting into the 6, 7, and 8s, as long as you keep those other ones from coming back, man, it could really move you into some profitability, which will naturally change your mind, right? So track one habit at a time. End each session by asking, did I trade like the person I want to become? Okay, that's what I had to ask myself that day. I literally had to walk away with $1,100 loss, which did not fit my low risk trading plan that I was implementing on that prop firm. Like seriously, that was a killer. And I was like, are you serious? It's not who I want to become. So I stopped myself because I was ready to put it all on the next trade, all or none, one trade, either make it all back or lose it all. And I just said, no, that's not who I want to be. So I stepped away. Okay. Final quote. This is the final quote from Tom Hougaard. If you have made it this far, I am impressed. Legit. Proud of you. That's awesome. You're showing dedication. Good job. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. Dang. There you go. So, how are you going to build your identity? Who are you going to become? Okay? Don't become me. All right? Become something better. Right? Read Tom Hougaard, read Jared Tendler, go out there, do some research, read Market Wizards, start building an actual trader identity that you can be proud of. When people are like, "What do you do?" Like, "Oh, I'm a day trader." I don't know what else to tell people. Like, I'm an investor, day trader, bag holder, swing trader, scalper, prop firm. I don't even know, right? I don't know what I do. Okay, it's all over the place. I have long-term investments, short-term, but my day trading, right? Because I can't hold that trade, but for the day. Am I being the day trader I want to be? Right, that's very important. Build your identity, and I really hope that this series has been super helpful for you. Next is Jared Tendler's Mental Game of Trading. I feel like I'm taking on an extremely daunting task there because that book is serious. That book is there's so much in there. It's like I read one page out of a chapter and I'm like, oh, man, that's like 2 videos probably. But let's do this, right? Let's build our identity. Let's become the traders we want to be. Start rolling in the profits that we've always wished for, right? All right. Hope this has been helpful. See you guys in the next video.